Shalom. First, I give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. And I'm just getting into it with the lesson here on the MOTB, because this is one of the main prophecies, man, before the destruction come, and then the deliverance, getting out of Babylon. Yahweh Shai, a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah, is going to come back and deliver the elect out of Babylon, because Babylon, America is, another big piece of prophecy too. And most of the deliverance is going to come out of America. The elect is going to be, delivered from all over the earth. So don't get that twisted, but the bulk is going to be right here in America, Babylon, So we need this RFID, M chip to come to pass, to be mandatory, because this man, Esau Edom, he's moving towards a digital system, a digital prison system where everything you do can be tracked, surveilled, things of that sort. Your transactions in live time. You try to go to a store and buy something that's not approved, you could be turned off. Your transaction can be declined. So the scripture speaks about how Esau Edom, he's going to get his new world order off the ground. He's going to taste it. He's going to experience it. The Most High is going to give him that power for a brief moment, and then he's going to knock it out of his hands, man. Spoken about in Job. When he's about to fill his belly, roughly paraphrasing. So that's what we really need. Even though prophecy is unfolding, man. America's collapsing. Babylon is collapsing. And you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans are still asleep. You're not hip to what's coming. You don't have that eye salve. And you're in a deep slumber. The food shortages is on the way. The famine's on the way. The riots. There's going to be no food, no water. There's going to be martial law in the streets. All leading up to this MOTB, man, to make you submit and take this man's, M arc, if you know what I'm talking about. So we're moving towards that very fastly. And like I said, Jake is, sleep, don't know what's going on, worrying about watching Netflix. Some Jakes do know, they aware of what's going on, but they don't understand the magnitude of what the wrath of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is going to bring down on them, man. Because I run into Jake, they're prepping, but they don't understand that this is going to cripple America, man. We talking about a day of Jacob's trouble, something that's never been recorded in history, man. A day so terrible that the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai got in store for you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the true biblical Israelites. He has a time period for something known as Jacob's trouble to really bring the hell down on you one good last time, man, for being disobedient and wicked. And laying down with other gods, man. But let's get some of this Revelation 13, man. We're going to go straight to the point. Because, Esau Edom, he has a plan to make you his personal slave. And a lot of you Jakes are willing to do it, man. If you even make it this far to get to the MOTB. But Jake is so beaten down and don't believe in nothing else but the so-called white man. You know, you're willing to take this mark to keep the lights on, put some money back in your pocket, you know, to keep participating in this man's system. But what the little bit you don't know is that in this man's system, you're not going to have anything. You know, you're not going to be able to, you know, just do whatever you want to do. And, you know, Jake like to brag about how many houses they got, how much money they got. All that's going away. Your rights, your personal or constitutional rights, they like to call it, that's going away. You're going to be a complete and utter slave, man, in this new world order. And the elect are saying, hell no with that. We ain't down with Esau Edom, the so-called white man. We don't want no part of his NWO, his society. We don't want his mark. We don't want nothing to do with this devil no more, man. He had his shot. We found out he's the wicked. He's the devil. And we stand away from him like the plague, man. You know? We know he's no fucking good, man. You know? You know, and starting with the wicked elite. You know, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Gettys, the DuPonts, you know, Charles Nim, King Charles, and the rest of the Dukes of Edom. You know, we realize that they ain't nothing but a lying pieces of crap. And the ones on the low level too, the peasants of Esau Edom. Everyday Joe Cracker you got to deal with every day. We know you're nothing. You're the wicked. You're the devil. And we don't want no parts of y'all, man. We want to rule. We don't want to be second-class citizens to some damn heathens, man. Because we are the true chosen people of the planet. And let me get into this video with these precepts right here. Because this is what we gonna see actually take place. Some of us, well, I won't say some of us, but there's a number of us that's gonna actually be able to see this, and some of us are gonna be beheaded for rejecting this. You know, rejecting this mark. You know, because that's what it's gonna boil down to. Either you're gonna take it, you know, and you say, hey, I'm going to be your servant, Esau Edom. Or you say, you know what? You just got to cut my head off because I'm not going to partake in your wicked system, man. And you are not my master, Esau. But let's get this Revelation 13 and verse 16. Let's start at verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as it would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So yeah, you don't want to take, you know, you don't want to be a productive member of society, like Esau like to say. You know, you don't want to partake in this new WO. You know, you don't want to continue to go on, you know, getting you some type of job, getting you a place to stay. You know, the same old rat race that we got set up now. If you don't want to partake in none of that, and you don't want to worship the beast, you know, the system of Esau Edom, you know, you're going to be put to death. You know, you're going to be put to death, man. Jake, you're going to be put to death. You know, and these heathens, they're going to have to, they're going to be propositioned with this too, man. You know, this is going to tempt the majority of the world. You know, if not the whole planet. You know? you're going to be tempted with this, man. You're going to be tempted, and you're going to have a decision to make. Do I just say, okay, I'm tired. I don't want to, I want to eat. I want a nice shower. I want to get my hair cut. I need to get my dreads braided. Jake, I need to get back to just being normal again. And you go down there to wherever the chipping station are, and you get your chip and you fall in line. Or you say, you know what? F that, I ain't dealing with this. You're not putting it inside of me. You just got to kill me. And hey, you're going to be beheaded, man. You have to take into account that you will be beheaded. As in having your head cut off, man. For rejecting Esau, Edom's, mark. Verse 16, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So it could be in your right hand or your left hand, and you're going to be implanted with this, you ain't gonna be able to put it on a chain and wear it around your neck, or make an earring or a ring or a key ring out of it. It is going inside of you internally, man. So you niggas and you heathens who make a deal to take this, you just can't get rid of it, man. It's gonna be embedded in you, and you're gonna have to ride with it. You're gonna have to ride with this, and you're gonna have to stand on it. You're gonna have to stand on it. And if you're a so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, and you take this mark, that's an automatic death sentence, man, for you. You're not going to be delivered, man. You're going to take place in this lake of fire from the thermonuclear ICBM missiles, during this World War III. You're going to get hit by them nukes coming from Russia, man, and several other countries, because America's going to be nuked, man. And this RFID microchip is going to be the last test, if you will, for you Israelites, man, to see if you really down with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, or you just want to be a damn slave to Esau, Edom, man. And once the dust is settled on who's taking it, who took it, and who didn't, hey, the missile's gonna fly, man. The thermonuclear ICBM missiles, nuclear missiles, are going to fly and annihilate this place. And that goes for the heathens too, man. Everybody outside of the nation Israel. It says, so you can get this in your right hand, or your left hand, or in your forehead, in your brain, the brain implant. So all these are aligned. These are here already. And you have people with the mark in their hand already. But it has to be made mandatory, and it's coming. It is definitely coming. And so don't tarry, man. It's coming. It says, verse 17, that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So yeah, you're not going to be able to buy, sell, trade, get you a position, be able to mail you anything without this. You got to have your RFID microchip, your NWO currency, man, in you. You got to have it in you in order to function in this man's new world. He's gonna have it to where you got to have it. And it don't matter whether you're gonna be, rich, poor, whether your ass in jail or your ass ain't in jail, man. You gotta have it. You know? You wanna be in prison eating them damn honey buns and them damn ramen noodles and pickle pouches and shit like that. Then you gonna have to take it. You know? Who knows what all the trickery Esau Edom's gonna have, man. You know he's gonna tempt you with the food, the water, all the comfort things. And then, for you niggas in prison, he might say, hey man, you take this, you might, we can work with your time, man. You get some time off your sentence. Who knows what this piece of crap got lined up, man. But it's all lies, treachery, and deceit, man. It says, verse 17, let's read that again. It says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. What is the number of a man? And his number is 666. 666. Yeah. So hey. And we already know, man, the Lord, that, all this applies to Esau Edom, man. He told on himself, Nick Rockefeller, they saying who don't exist anymore. He gave us the plan. He told everything. The Most High made him expose himself, made Esau bear, mentioned about in Jeremiah, I believe. Told on his ass, man. And the goal is to get everybody microchipped, man. And he said if, you're going to be able to go through a scanner, if I remember exactly what he was saying in that interview to Aaron Russo. He was like, hey, you could just walk through and it'd be like, oh, I'm chipped. And then, for the ones who really connected, he'd be like, oh, you don't have a chip. He'd be like, fuck you, I don't need one. But that's the very, very top elite. That's not going to have it. But you peasants will, So that's what we're coming down to. It's only a matter of time. And with this Iran war going on, it's only going to get worse, and it's going to lead to food shortages. The pestilences are dropping. So everything's falling into place, and everything's rolling. It's slowed down right now, but it's going to kick back up, man. And, we're going to see, the civil war, the riots in the street, the stock market crashing. We're going to see all that, Lord willing, man, if we make it that far. But, some of us will, some of us won't. But, I pray this video was edifying to the elect. And going to keep praying, watch and pray. Because, hey, we almost out of here and we see prophecy unfolding, man. Before I get out of here, I'm going to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadash. Shalom.